Hey everybody, welcome to Moment of Clarity. Joe Biden went to the G7. Used to be the G8 until they decided that they needed to create, neo-McCarthyism and go after Russia again and act like anything in Russia is or connected to Russia, or if you have a Russian nesting doll or you drink Russian vodka, then you yourself are evil and a foreign agent, and you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. I mean, you should just sit there in the fetal position and cry a little because you are a horrible person. Russian dressing too. If you use Russian dressing on your salad, then just fucking kill yourself, okay? Because you are a horrible, horrible person. But so he's at the G7. He had a meeting with Putin. And, when Donald Trump met with Putin, and remember, I'm no fan of Trump, so don't take this as some kind of, hey, Trump was great. But remember, when Trump had a meeting with Putin, it meant that Trump was dastardly evil and working with foreign governments. When Biden is a level with Putin, it means Biden is awesome and patriotic and standing up to foreign governments. So you see, two meetings, but mean the completely opposite thing. Also, if you're in the mainstream media, and I'm sure most of you watching this are all working at the mainstream media because they love watching my shit. If you work in the mainstream media, remember, Donald Trump was a pawn of Putin, even though he put more sanctions on Russia than Obama ever did and pulled out of more treaties with Russia than Obama ever did. That makes Donald Trump a puppet of Russia. For some odd reason, Russia wants to sanction themselves. And if you're talking about Joe Biden is an enemy of Russia, even though so far he has not put more sanctions on Russia than Trump did. So just remember that. And if you're in the mainstream media, which all of you are, use that. Just remember when you're writing your shit to remember that. But so Joe Biden was in this, went to this meeting with Putin. And when he came out, he talked about what he found, what he learned. And I think you all, I can't imagine any of you finding any issue with Joe Biden's remarks, which I'm going to share with you now. I mean, they just show how America's awesome, really. They're just totally awesome.
His credibility worldwide shrinks. Let's get this straight. How would it be if the United States were viewed by the rest of the world as interfering with the elections directly of other countries?
Did you catch that? How would it be if the United States were viewed as interfering in the elections of other countries? Bah! That is all we fucking do. Have you seen the list of countries we've interfered with? Fucking all of them. There's not one on. It's hundreds long. There's 300 countries that we've interfered with. There's not even 300 countries, but somehow we've interfered with 300 countries. So all America does is every country that does not already have our puppet government in there, which is a lot of them, that does not already have a fucking fascist government that we like working with because they'll exploit their people and give us, their fucking all of their resources. Anyone that doesn't already have that, what do? We try our goddamnedest to interrupt and interfere in their elections. We're seeing it throughout Latin America right now. We've either attempted or succeeded in Ecuador, in Bolivia, in Brazil, in Nicaragua, in Guatemala, in Haiti, in Mexico. We do it again and again and again, and that was just Latin America. I didn't even get to the rest of the world, all right? I can't list all 300 countries that we've interfered in, even though there's only like 190 some countries and territories. But yes, we have fucking destroyed other countries. And here Biden is saying, could you imagine how it'd be if America was viewed as interfering in other countries? Could you imagine what that'd be like?
Let's get this straight. How would it be if the United States were viewed by the rest of the world as interfering with the elections directly of other countries and everybody knew it? What would it be like if we engaged in activities that he's engaged in?
What would it be like if we were engaged in the activities that we accuse Russia of engaging in, but really we're engaged in and they're not engaged in? What would that be like?
Diminishes the standing of a country that is desperately trying to make sure it maintains its standing.
Oh my God. This is so fucking incredible. I mean, and also it helps that Biden, probably due to his dementia, has forgotten the name of the country he's talking about. So he hasn't actually said the word Russia yet. So honestly, he could be giving this exact same speech about America. Maybe he is. Maybe he's become just a radical and he's talking about America because he is defining us to a T. This is exactly what we are.
As a major world power.
We're trying to maintain, the American empire is trying to maintain as a world power. We're trying to maintain our empire. And we're doing it via military with 900, 1,000 military bases around the world. We're doing it by interfering in other elections and trying to make sure that our puppets, that our neoliberal garbage candidates win and take over each of these countries. And then we're doing it by trying to create coups in places like Venezuela, by trying to bring down the socialist or the candidates that are outside of their oligarchy, of their usually white oligarchy. There's a racial issue in Venezuela that also our mainstream media doesn't want to talk about.
And so it's not just what I do. It's what the actions that other countries take, in this case, Russia, that are contrary to
Hey, he remembered the name.
International norms.
International norms. We love to say that. The U.S. government loves to say that. This is contrary to international norms. Well, what the fuck do you mean by international norms? You mean contrary to the shit you've been doing? Contrary to the endless coups that you create throughout the world? Contrary to the subtle fucking manipulating of countries or stealing of their resources? Hell, some of the time we don't even remove we're not able to remove the leaders from other countries, so we just steal their resources, or we cut off their ability to get resources, like we're trying to do with Venezuela and their oil. And Iran and Syria, the sanctions we put on them to crush those countries. Contrary to international norms, there is no one more contradictory to the global rule of law than the United fucking States. Okay? And I realize that Joe Biden's memory only goes back 30 seconds, so he's forgotten many of these things, but still.
It's the price they pay. They are not able to dictate what happens in the world.
Exactly. The United States is trying to dictate what's happening in the world, and in many cases, we're failing.
There are other nations of significant consequence, i.e. the United States of America being one of them.
There it is, folks. I hope you learned a lot from Joe Biden there. Learned a lot about what Russia's doing wrong. Learned a lot about what an egregious supervillain Russia is. I mean, Joe Biden is word for word describing the United States of America. He just either doesn't realize it or he's really good at our propaganda. But I'm guessing Joe Biden's not really good at much. So it's tough to say whether he's actually with it enough to be putting forward really good propaganda, or he literally doesn't realize he's describing the United States of America. I mean, word for fucking word. Honestly, I could sit here for the next 25 minutes and just list off countries that we've intervened in or fucking wreaked havoc in. Around the world, just, the Congo, Somalia, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Egypt, Israel, Palestine. I just goes on and fucking on. Ukraine, even get into Europe, and the amount of fucking damage we've done and continue to do. And then we have the nerve to have this clown stand up there and say, listen, Russia is going against the international norms. Yeah, against international norms. Who is the only country to actually drop nuclear bombs on human beings, wiping out hundreds of thousands of innocent people, despite the fact, and we did a whole episode of Government Secrets, my podcast with Graham Elwood on this, despite the fact we did not need to drop the atomic bombs. And if you haven't heard that history, then please go listen to that episode. Go look up Government Secrets on all the podcast platforms. Scroll down till you get to the episode about atomic bombs, and you'll find out we did not need to drop the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All right. We chose to because we wanted to set an example to Russia, show them, to the Soviet Union, show them that we had the capability and that we were willing to kill hundreds of thousands of innocent people. And because we wanted to test it out and see just how horrible it'd be. The war was fucking over. All right. And I know you're going, what? Because some people are unfamiliar with this history. Because the farther we get away, the further we get away from World War II, the less people, the more kind of the whitewashing of our history takes over, and the less we know the reality of it. And I can't even claim to know all of the reality of it, but I can tell you this much. The war was over. Japan was done. And the only thing that kept Japan from surrendering was the fact that we wouldn't allow them to keep their emperor. We said, no, you need to surrender without any strings attached, without any caveats. And that the only thing they wanted was to keep their emperor, because to them that was like a god at the time. I don't know, what their culture's like now, but at the time, that was they couldn't say, yeah, just execute the emperor. And the U.S., all the U.S. had to do was say, yep, all right, war's over. And instead, we dropped those bombs because we wanted to see what would happen. We wanted to see the impact. We wanted to see how many people would die. And we wanted to show the Soviet Union that we had that capability. Despite the fact that we were working with the Soviet Union, so-called, to end World War II. And most of it was them. They lost, 27 million people. We lost 500,000. So slightly more of an impact on their country. Despite the fact that they had ended it against Germany, we worked with them on that in a way. We wanted to show them how powerful we were. And I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but my point is, there's no one that's been more damaging to global unity than the United States. And here is Joe Biden walking out there and saying, Russia's going against international norms. Yeah, fucking right. Sure he is. Sure they are. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now for this episode of Moment of Clarity. But please do two things. One is, right now, if you're in the United States, get out your phone, text the word redacted to 33777. All it does is sign you up for the email list. It's completely free. If you text that word, it'll just ask for your email, and that's it. Totally free. Just text the word redacted to 33777. The reason I need you to sign up for the email is because we are so suppressed. I mean, lots of times people aren't even told about our videos. Our videos are not shown to people. So the best way still for me to get in touch with you is via email, because it's slightly less suppressed. So please do that. And the other thing is all these donations in the super chat will go to people who are struggling. And check out the podcast, Government Secrets. Check out the new Redacted Tonight at leecamp.com. You can always get the new Redacted Tonight. So really, because we are so suppressed, because they're not going to tell you about our videos, you have to make a habit, and I hope you will, of every week going to leecamp.com, maybe Friday night, maybe Saturday, watching the new Redacted Tonight, catching up on all the new good stuff. And I'll talk to you soon. Keep fighting.